So now let's look at some of the common lies about knife fighting. These are actually pretty good. These are lies about knife fighting. Now some of these lies are painfully obvious, and some are themselves lies because it's actually true. Okay, so let's see. Just talking about knife fighting today. Okay, number one, here's the first lie about knife fighting. We're going to have time to draw our own weapon. Okay, so they say it is a lie that we are going to have time to draw our own weapon. We believe that this, in fact, is not a lie in most circumstances. Now again, what circumstances won't you have time to pull your knife? In those assassination attempts. But even in some of those, we've seen by spinning the center line, if we are aware and we catch that glimpse of the knife coming at us before it gets to us, we're going to be able to build a gap and get our weapon drawn. So that's why I say this lie is a lie. Like 90% of the time, at least. Okay. So again, in general, someone uses a knife because they don't want to fight or because they want to assassinate us now. These are the two things. They don't want to fight, they just want to threaten us with this knife, or they want to assassinate us. Those are the two times somebody's pulling a knife. If we're not in jail, it's probably not going to be an assassination attempt, unless we are just a complete asshole or we are just involved in some type of illegal activity or gang activity. I mean, do you think there's anybody out there right now that wants to assassinate you?
No.
Okay, me neither. And I'm a fucking asshole. And I'm awake, right? So knives are great equalizers for some people, and they are over-the-top dominators for others. It all depends on the situation and the people involved. In the case where someone is going to use a knife to intimidate us or to disable us for the purpose of larceny or some other criminal act short of an assassination, being aware of our surroundings can help us keep us alert to problems before they occur. Oftentimes we will be able to draw our knife as events start to unfold, i.e. we are being followed by two thugs. Being the target of an assassination attempt is unlikely if we are a civil member of society in a civil area. If we are the target of an assassination attempt, we need to focus on minimizing initial damage and turning the tables with an effective counterattack. If we have a deployable weapon, we will want to focus on gaining distance so that we can get to our weapon. And again, is there anything in there that we didn't practice? Practice all that shit, right? So we should be much more able to have time to draw our knife in the event of a fight. Now, you're just some guy off the street, and you go out and you buy a knife, and you clip it on your little pants. This is not a lie. You know, like you're talking about your friend who hasn't had practice drawing a weapon, but carries a weapon. This is not a lie for him. I mean, because you have to practice. You have to practice. Anything you want to do good, you have to practice. Very few of us are just born with, you know, a natural ability to be an expert at something we've never done before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not going to happen. I don't think it happens, period. Okay, so lie number 2. It's going to be a knife fight. Okay? A lot of this goes back to the assassination attempt assumption in lie number 1. The assassination attempt is one of the least likely knife encounters that occur outside of prison. In Put 'Em Down, Take 'Em Out, Knife Fighting Techniques from Folsom Prison by Don Pentecost, Don writes, most violent situations are not blitz attacks. They are more likely to be borderline cases that escalate into violent situations without clear-cut provocation on our part. What this means is that if we try to maintain proper intervals, we will have time to draw our weapon and work our concepts. But don't think of it as just a fight. It is a life and death struggle. So that's where the main lie comes in, that this is going to be a fight. Like, you know, we're just, you know, back and forth, playing around. No. This is a life and death struggle, and you better get in there and get something done. Or you better have a way to get the F out of there and do so safely. That's the big points of this lie here. So is it a lie? I'll agree that it's going to be a knife fight is in fact a lie. Okay, number 3. I will be in a situation where I will be forced to knife fight. Okay. This allows us to test our skills rather than avoid the fight if possible. The odds of being cornered by one person are very slim. the odds of being closed on several angles because of a second or third attacker are much greater. Many times the threat display we are viewing can be overcome by a counter threat display followed by an immediate course of action, as long as we have the ability to follow up our threat display. Since most thugs aren't looking to be injured themselves, there is less than a 30% chance that our counter threat display will induce a violent response. Effective courses of action would include drawing our knife and taking a fighting stance and explaining that we are ready to defend ourselves, or throwing our keys in a direction where they would be unrecoverable, in other words, the roof of a building or into the woods, and while the threat watches them fly out of sight, we immediately head for an escape route, or immediately attacking the threat that looks likely to offer the least resistance if there's more than one guys, and will probably run away also. Any of these situations alleviate being forced to fight, but all must be acted on immediately before the threat becomes too entrenched in his course of action. So are you going to be forced to fight? There's really not many times you're going to be forced to fight. You're going to be either in fight or flight mode, or you can use your brain to get this guy just to leave you alone. And again, it all depends on your level of training, what you're comfortable with, and you know, the environment that you're in. You know, in general, for me, when I see that blade, I've already got my blade out, and I'm going to be chomping right on top of this guy. I'm going to cone in, I'm going to cut him, I'm going to hurt him bad, and then I'm going to get the F out of the area and call police. That's my course of action. Now, your course of action might be give him the keys and say, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. That's your choice. Your course of action might be you're aware of what's happening. This guy starts getting close, and you find some way to flee. That's your choice. You may take your keys and throw the keys and send him over there, and then you run away while he gets your keys and he comes back and starts your car and leaves. I mean, the choices are yours, okay? The choices are yours. You know, you have to be in that situation. You know, for me, you know, my explanation is going to be, I didn't know what the guy was up to. I wasn't sure if he had a knife. I just wanted to go about my way. I didn't want to be forced to change my course of action by some jerk off who wants to change my course of action. I mean, that's his choice. My choice was to not change my course of action.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, when he's a threat on top of me, I'm going to defend myself. That's my course of action. The law allows me that. Where I'm at in Florida, I'm going to follow the law, okay? And that's all there is to it. Now, your choice might be to stick to the rules of knife fighting #1 and avoid it possible. For me, the whole reason I do this stuff is that I can continue to live my life and do things that I want to do. And that's my choice, which includes defending myself.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants to be a wise ass, you know, it's just all, that's my choice. That's my life. I mean, you've got to make your own decisions. And if your decision is to avoid if possible, that's your #1 rule of knife fighting, then do that, okay? Do what's safe, you know, for you. For me, the safe thing is I don't want to live with myself running away.
Right.
That's my problem. That's my problem. I have mental fucking problems. I admit it.
To not be scared, I don't think that's another problem.
I mean, yeah, and I joke in general about that, but you know, I'm not going to take the safest path every time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyways, I'm going to take the path that I wanted to take from the get-go, and I'm not going to be forced off that path. And if you do try to force me off that path, there are going to be ramifications to pay, you know. And I have a legal right to do that,
Yeah.
to defend myself, to stand my ground. You know, it's like these terrorists, you know. Everybody stopped flying. Everybody was amazed. Oh, you're still going to Thailand?
Yeah.
Is there still pussy over there? Am I still going to be able to lay, you know, 20 chicks? So again, you can always try to change the course of action. That's basically what we're trying to say. Okay, so anyways, but it's not going to be a fight where, again, we're just playing around. You know, it's going to be life and death struggle. Okay, so #4, he's going to attack us in a specific way. This is why it's important to practice against as many styles as possible and to avoid learning specific techniques. If we haven't trained with the threat in front of us, how can we possibly know how he's going to attack us? So in other words, you've never trained with this guy who has the knife in front of you. So how do you know how he's going to attack you? Well, your karate instructor at many karate schools will tell you that he's going to attack like this, and thus I have a technique for that. Or he's going to attack like this, and thus I have a technique for that. And now you can go out and be confident that you're ready to take on all comers with the knives, because he's either going to attack like this or like this. I mean, that's all good and well. I mean, I'm going to give him this much. 50% of the attacks probably will be like this or like this. The first thrust that he makes at you. But he's going to come with a repeated those things 100 times, and if you're lucky to grab it the first time, you're probably still not going to be lucky enough to get that disarm finished.
Yeah.
And he's going to get that hand loose, and he's going to start cutting you and cutting you and cutting you. And again, like I say, you might be able to block that first one 50% of the time. Or let me say it again, 50% of the time he might come with this kind of attack. And 50% of that time, you might be able to block that first attack successfully without being cut. But are you going to be able to do that disarm? Very unlikely. Very unlikely. Because this guy's not going to come with a full force attack, or with a single-minded attack, let's say, and just stand there after you block his shot.
Yeah.
And let you do your little doohickeys. It's just not going to work like that, guys. So he's going to attack us in a specific way that is a huge lie. And it is a lie that has been maintained. I can't think of the right word that I want to use. But it's been maintained. Huh?
Perpetuated?
Perpetuated by your karate instructors in the dojo, in the mall, strip mall dojos.
Yeah.
They love to perpetuate, is that the word?
Yeah.
This lie, okay? Because they are con men trying to sell you confidence. That's all they're trying to do, sell you confidence. They don't really give a shit about how you do against that knife fight. They just want you to go out and tell your friends that you feel good and confident, so that you'll come in and you'll sign that freaking 12-month contract and buy the dojo kit with the gi and the patch. And then you'll go to the tournaments and all that type of stuff. Everything that will help perpetuate his lifestyle.
I like the black gis because it's like an evil dojo.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely go with the black gis. But the reason I go with the black gis because they don't get fucking dirty. Okay, so anyways, let's see. How can we possibly know how he's going to attack if we haven't met him before? Okay, so number 5, which really goes with number 4, he is going to passively stand still while you carve him up. Okay. Again, we already started talking about this. We have to learn to deploy our concepts while on the move against an attacker that continues to attack while on the move. Okay? And you've seen that a lot. We've done lots of combos. And again, you'll find that when we start doing the fighting each other out here as two skilled knife fighters, that it just doesn't work out like it did earlier on, where we were kind of overcommitting to each attack, because we're careful not to overcommit here, right? We want to stay in a more safe position, and we don't want to get chopped up, because we also know that the other guy's skilled. So yes, this becomes different, although we do force ourselves to attack, okay? It does become different, and a lot of the concepts all of a sudden don't work because we're not fighting an untrained guy, okay? That stuff would work a lot better with the untrained guy, okay? But again, you can't presuppose that the guy's going to be so untrained that he's going to come in with this attack or this attack, and he's just going to stand there afterwards, because it's not going to happen in a million years. Okay, so anyways, trapping, stripping lie. Okay. We avoid trying to control or disarm the attacker. Traps should only be used as a concept to open other opportunities that will disable the attacker's ability to attack, i.e. kill him. So again, trapping and stripping. So again, the guy comes like this, I go like this, I trap it. A lot of people call trapping catching, but I go like this, now I slide over here, now I've got it in my hand, now I push the knife down here, or I come like this, I come over the top and I grab him and I throw him, you know, or again like this one, I stab him with his own knife. Okay, that's all nice and well, but it's just not going to work that way, because this guy is not going to go for it. When he comes like this, he's just coming like this. He's not going all the way down here. He expects to go here, and he expects to pull it back this way. So while you're going here and you're trying to push that down to his leg, he's going to pull back this way, and now your hand's going to be down there, and it's not going to be up there for his second slash. Same thing here. He's not coming with just one slash. He's coming with multiple slashes. So you go to X block him, then you go to trap him, well, the knife's out of the way. Now your two hands are like this, and he's got a clean avenue over here to stab you. So it just doesn't work. Trapping and stripping just doesn't work the way you think it's gonna based on what you learned in the dojo. Unless, again, you've practiced it against a guy coming in with multiple attacks, like we did. You know, we looked at the Folsom Prison attack. We looked at all of our customizable defenses against combination attacks. Okay, so again, we've seen this and we've seen what works. So yes, you do see me trapping. You do see us grabbing each other's arm and catching, that type of stuff. But what are we doing it for? We're just trying to hold that out of the way a little bit while we get in a stab. We're not going to try to just focus all our energy on this guy's knife and trying to get the knife from him. Okay, that's not going to work. All it's going to do is leave us under fire longer, and it's going to get us cut. Okay. Okay, so let's see. 7, biomechanical cutting lie. Again, when I was doing fighting against you with the Chinese thing, I tried to do a biomechanical cut, and what happened? I wound up getting cut badly. You had my back, and it was a big problem. So again, it was a big problem. Biomechanical cutting line. This is the ghost of the old shooting him in the leg misconception so many people had. There is a natural hesitation to take another human life. However, when this manifests in seeking to wound someone in order to make them go away, we end up in a very dangerous legal gray area. Never mind very legal, never mind the very dangerous gray area of playing with our life. You know? In other words, if it is bad enough to where we have to use a weapon on someone, it is bad enough to use our most effective concepts, i.e. kill the threat. If we are at a point where we are just trying to wound someone, we are not in enough danger to justify using a knife, and the fact that we were even in a situation where a knife was used is going to make that gray area more dangerous. A knife is often considered a thug's weapon, so avoid looking like a thug. Look like a professional. Get the job done rather than looking like a bully just trying to injure someone. Okay? So again, forget about these biomechanical cuts where you just want to wound someone. Okay? God forbid that wound turns into a permanent disability, and God forbid you didn't need to cut this guy in the first place. You know, now you have a big problem, especially in this other jurisdictions more than it is our jurisdiction. So you're in California, you're going to your car, some guy pulls a knife on you, and you're in like a big open parking lot. You're in the middle of the parking lot, and this guy's like here, you're here, your car is here, there's another car here, and there's a whole parking lot over here. You can just run away from this guy. Instead, you reach out there and try to biomechanically cut his inner thigh right here, and you wind up cutting a huge nerve and an artery, and he winds up having some kind of problem where his leg has to be amputated. Okay? He survives, but his leg has to be amputated. Maybe now you would rather be carried by 6. Of course, I'm just jesting there.
Well, yeah.
But you're going to be in that situation again where you're going to be sued. You know, you're going to be in jail, and you got problem after problem after problem because you went to do a biomechanical cut.
Yeah.
At least, if you'd have killed this guy, right? Now, whose story are they going to listen to?
There wouldn't be anybody to sue you first.
Well, his
Well, yeah,
heirs
the
can
family.
still sue you, and the prosecutor can still put you in jail. But once you kill him, okay? And again, I'm not advocating this as a solution for you misinterpreting your rights under the law, but certainly your lawyer might want to fabricate a story that will keep you out of jail and keep you from being sued.
Right.
So we're blaming on the lawyers. They're to blame anyways. We believe that this, in fact, is not a lie in most circumstances. Now again, what circumstances won't you have time to pull your knife? In those assassination attempts. But even in some of those, we've seen by spinning the center line, if we are aware and we catch that glimpse of the knife coming at us before it gets to us, we're going to be able to build a gap and get our weapon drawn. So that's why I say this lie is a lie. Like 90% of the time, at least. Okay. So now let's look at some of the common lies about knife fighting. These are actually pretty good. These are lies about knife fighting. Now some of these lies are painfully obvious, and some are themselves lies because it's actually true. Okay, so let's see. Just talking about knife fighting today. Okay, number 1. Here's the first lie about knife fighting. We're going to have time to draw our own weapon. Okay, so they say it is a lie that we are going to have time to draw our own weapon. We're the top dominators for others. It all depends on the situation and the people involved. In the case where someone is going to use a knife to intimidate us or to disable us for the purpose of larceny or some other criminal act short of an assassination, being aware of our surroundings can help us keep us alert to problems before they occur. Oftentimes we will be able to draw our knife as events start to unfold, i.e. we are being followed by two thugs. Being the target of an assassination attempt is unlikely if we are a civil member of society in a civil area. If we are the target of an assassination attempt, we need to focus on minimizing initial damage and turning the tables with an effective counterattack. If we have a deployable weapon, we will want to focus on gaining distance so that we can get to our weapon. And again, is there anything in there that we didn't practice? Practice all that shit, right? So we should be much more able to have time to draw our knife in the event of a fight. Now, you're just some guy off the street, and you go out and you buy a knife, and you clip it on your little pants. So again, in general, someone uses a knife because they don't want to fight or because they want to assassinate us now. These are the two things. They don't want to fight, they just want to threaten us with this knife, or they want to assassinate us. Those are the two times somebody's pulling a knife. If we're not in jail, it's probably not going to be an assassination attempt, unless we are just a complete asshole or we are just involved in some type of illegal activity or gang activity. I mean, do you think there's anybody out there right now that wants to assassinate you?
No.
Okay, me neither. And I'm a fucking asshole. And I'm awake, right? So knives are great equalizers for some people, and they are over